তো মায়ে দিদি যাচ্ছে দো মায়ে দো মায়ে দো মায়ে দো মায়ে बीजेपी आज
BJP has lost the election and they have played so many dirty politics, dirty tricks. Even all the officers are saying with high officials, you are under watch.
In the last general elections in 2019, BJP, after winning 18 out of 42 parliamentary seats, not only managed to sway Mamta-led TMC, but also posed itself as the sole challenger for the state assembly election to stop Mamta's winning streak in the state of Bengal. However, when the state elections arrived, the ambitious-looking BJP, with a desire to unseat TMC Supremo Mamta Banerjee, tottered at just 77 seats, while TMC, a populous regional party in the state, yet again made a strong comeback with a resounding two-thirds majority in a run-up to state's legislative assembly elections. The political phases of Bengal have witnessed several transitions since the independence. Though INC was never the dominant political faction in the state, after partition, it emerged as the unchallenged and dominant political party. While the Bengal was on the verge of world's most dreaded food shortage crisis and blooded violence, the INC still continued to be on the top of the Bengal's political helm with BC Roy as its chief minister. The then United Front government didn't survive for long in the year 1967. In the post-independence Bengal, the period 1967 to 1972 was the most turbulent. The Vice-Chancellor of Jadavpur University, Gopal Sen, was murdered along with scores of other people. It was a situation of total anarchy which led to the return of the Congress to power again in 1971. Finally, it was election rigging and the emergency of 1975 which paved the way for the long inning of the CPM-led Left Front in the 1977 with an ambitious desire to bring agricultural revolution. The same discourse of transition continues when BJP was thrilled at winning 18 Lok Sabha seats in 2019. However, the little explained Sonar Bangla and Osol Parivartan did not fire the imagination of the middle class, and specifically women voter, as against of Mamta's more local and vocal looking war cry of Khela Hobe in the state elections. What BJP failed to recognize is that Mamta Banerjee too is the byproduct of a revolution and several erstwhile protests in the state, and a soul warrior who toppled the 34 years of left regime against the forcible acquisition of land in 2011. The strategies of BJP were accompanied with several loopholes. Here I have managed to show you the 5 major premises where BJP lost its run-up to the West Bengal Assembly elections. As BJP was able to persuade many TMC leaders to join their ranks, out of 34 TMC and Communist Party of India Marxist leaders who joined the party in the last 3 months and were given BJP tickets, only 5 won. While adding the amount of famous personalities who were given ticket were having no connection with the on-ground politics, it amounted to 149 out of 292 tickets going to those without roots in the party. As per the report published in the Hindustan Times, many insiders of the BJP believed that the real ground workers were denied tickets, while central leadership focused more on those members who chooses the path of defection from the TMC and also on celebrities and actors, concentrating the fight more between the current members of TMC alongside with their former party members who joined TMC just before election. This was one of the primary reasons which wasn't encouraging for those BJP ground workers that had slowly played a role in enabling the rise of the BJP. Mamta Banerjee, with the help of her most trusted lieutenant and her political advisor during the elections, Prashant Kishore, successfully labeled BJP and its central team and its star campaigner alongside with the team of G22 as outsiders. G22 was basically a group of union ministers or state ministers from across the country and some hand-picked member of parliament or legislators who were each assigned 4 or 5 assembly constituencies. Another major crisis with flooding BJP national stars in Bengal was a basic language problem. Whether they came from Delhi or from Uttar Pradesh, the star campaigner and most G22 members spoke only Hindi. Some, such as Party General Secretary in charge of Bengal, Kailash Vijayvargiya, had managed an understanding of the Bengali, but none of the outsider could speak in Bengali. With Suvendu Adhikari, Mukul Roy, and Dilip Ghosh, the BJP might have had a kind of little clarity on who would be the state's CM, but it was leading towards the colliding ambition game. As per the Hindustan Time report, many BJP insiders believed that BJP's state unit president Dilip Ghosh wasn't the most tactful. At the end, the middle class did wonder who could be an alternative to Mamta following the leadership crisis in the BJP state unit. Also, at the same time, Modi, Shah and Nadda's high visible campaign confused the voter and made them accept TMC's argument that there was no one in the BJP state leadership who could impose a challenge to Mamta Banerjee. As BJP has 121 assembly segment leads in 2019 Lok Sabha polls, they believed that if they consolidate the vote from the TMC strongholds, it can gain further in the assembly elections. But it has worked the opposite. In short, it failed. By statistical figure, it's a drop of almost 30% from leading in 121 assembly segments in 2019 Lok Sabha polls to just manage a meager 77 seats in the assembly polls. BJP is saying that they have gained a lot, right from 3 seats in 2016 to 77 in 2021. But central leadership of BJP is disappointed with the results as it couldn't sustain its performance of Lok Sabha elections. During the fourth phase of assembly elections in Bengal on April 10, 2021, a total of 5 people from Muslim community were killed in Cooch Behar, Sitalkuchi by central forces. The incident was then used by the Mamta-led TMC to send a message to the Muslim community that the TMC is your sole savior, and if you don't vote for us unitedly, the BJP will come to power. Mamta Banerjee basically asked for a unity from minority communities, and it eventually worked, and turned the tables for the rest of the phases of elections. As BJP leadership will be taking stock of all the factors that were responsible for the party's debacle in the West Bengal, which has high on the party's agenda since it won 18 out of 42 parliamentary seats in the state in 2019. It is also focusing more on how to stop further defections within the BJP legislatures since the Mukul Roy again turned coated and joined hands with the Mamta after joining BJP in 2017. His exit might not hinder BJP at organizational level, but raises an eyebrow to remain more cautious to avoid further defections of recently emerged legislatures in the newly elected state assembly, while on the other hand, BJP right now must be hoping to give proactive opposition to the government of West Bengal. BJP might have lost today. Mamta and Trinamool Congress might have won today. But still, there is one factor between these two political entities, and that is none other than the current leader of opposition in the West Bengal Assembly, Suvendu Adhikari. Yes, you heard it right. I am talking about BJP's Suvendu Adhikari. As BJP is suffering with the severe organizational crisis in the Bengal BJP unit, and Mamta Banerjee and his obvious successor, Abhishek Banerjee, is capable enough to stop their further inroads, Suvendu Adhikari, a local and a new poster boy of BJP, could possibly be their much required face for a run-up to the 2026 Bengal Assembly Elections.